sure. So, Amy, there's a couple of people who have some questions, but we also wondered if you might have any tips for writing picture books or children's books for us.
You guys want to start with your questions, maybe?
Sure. Sure.
I wanted to ask you what you were a fan of all our books.
I'm sorry, what was it? Say the question again?
What are you a fan of in all of our books? Like, what animal are you a fan of, or a person?
Wait, I'm not sure I'm understanding the question. Like,
because Xuanfan is the girl who wrote that amazing blog post about you. And
yeah.
Her name's Xuanfan, and you misunderstood that her last name was Fan, and you said you wanted to know what Xuanfan was a fan of. And so now she wants to know what you're a fan of. What do you like to do, or what books or movies or things do you really love?
Okay, yeah, all right. Sorry that I was a little slow on that. Okay. Gosh, you know what? I feel like there's so many things. So I'm a fan of books, obviously. I'm a fan of a lot of music. I'm a fan of ideas. I'm a fan of potato chips. I'm a fan of coffee. I'm a fan of my family. I'm a fan of the color purple. Yeah. How's that?
Okay.
I'm a fan of what about you?
Well, I'm a fan of sports and potato chips and and books.
All right. Well, so we have a lot of overlapping interests. Things that we're fans of.
Does anyone else have a question that they really want to ask?
And that's really cool about your blog, by the way.
Oh, Xuanfan is an awesome blogger, and we've got lots of other budding bloggers in our class. It's fantastic.
It's really cool.
So anyone else who has another question? No? Okay, Jimmy, and then Ella.
Okay, what was your favorite book?
Again?
What was your favorite book?
My favorite
book that we read?
That I've ever read?
No, right now.
You mean one of her books or a different book?
Like right now, like little books.
Oh, the little something books.
Oh, you know what I have to say, honestly, I just think it's really wonderful that you guys all did your own stories. I think each one had something really cool about it, and I'm just really glad that the books kind of motivated you guys to come up with your own thing. It's just wonderful and so awesome, and I hope that the process was really fun for you. So I don't think I could pick a favorite because I like parts of all of them. Yeah, how was the process for you making it?
You all had fun, right? Yeah, you loved it. Yep. Keen's got his thumbs up. Giving us. Okay, so next Ella and then Elizabeth.
It doesn't really have to do with the little book. What was the first book that you wrote?
The first book was my first children's book is Little P. So yeah, what you guys obviously are going off of here. That was the very first children's book, and that started off as a bedtime story that I told my daughter when she was little. So yeah, that was the first one.
Great.
I was wondering what was your favorite book that you've written so far?
What's the favorite one I've written so far? I don't think I could say if I have a favorite, actually, because I kind of worked hard on all of them. So it's hard to choose if there's one that's a favorite, you know. I'm just glad that all the books that that were in the world, that they made it all the way through. Because the main thing is that I'm sure you know this, but for all the books that are published, the books that you see that you have in your library and everything, for all the books that do exist, you have to remember there are a lot that didn't ever happen. So the ideas weren't good enough, or I didn't, just couldn't get the story right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. We know that you've got lots of things to do, and it's late at night there. But have you got any tips for us? They loved this process, and they really caught on to the structure of your books. Even though there are a couple of different things that happened in the Little Something series. So Little P was a little different to Little Hoot and Little Oink. But we loved how there was a really clear structure. And we wonder if there's any other tips maybe that you could give us for writing our own stories.
Oh, God, let's see. Well, I always think it's helpful to, once you feel like your story's pretty, you've gotten to a place where you feel pretty good about it, but maybe you really know that you're not exactly 100% done yet, but it's far enough along that you feel that you have something interesting. Then I think what's super valuable is to share it with somebody who you think could offer you some good insight and be honest with you. So someone who's not going to just say, oh, that's fantastic, I love it, it's the best thing ever, because they're going to be nice to you, that's not really that helpful. If someone that is going to say, you know what, I think this story is really good, and this part, this is what I like, but this part maybe isn't working as well, or I'm not sure this sentence is exactly right, maybe there's a better word here. So I would encourage you to find somebody who, and it can just be one person, you don't have to show it to 10 people, but showing it to just one other person, of course your teacher also, but if you can find somebody who will really give you that kind of honest and smart, helpful feedback, that's something that I do all the time. And again, just with one person, it doesn't have to be a lot of people. So there's that. And then the other thing that I like to do is, and I don't know if you always think about storytelling this way, but after you've, again, gotten your story to a point where you feel pretty good about it, then I would spend some time focusing exclusively, in a very focused way, on your word choices. So going through the story and looking at your words, are there certain words that you're repeating a lot? Then maybe you want to come up with different words so you're not being repetitive. Do you have some really special, interesting words that you've used in your story? Because sometimes even just having one terrific word on the page in a sentence can change the whole way that the book feels. So really spending some time on finding those, magnificent, well-chosen words. I think those would be the two things I would suggest. What do you guys think about those ideas?
Yeah.
I think they're great ideas. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that's really nice too. Good advice about the editors, because we have peer editors in the class, and I think sometimes they do choose people who are going to say good things about their stories, and not people who will be more critical. So I think that's really good advice, to find people that they know can give them really constructive advice, and that will really help their writing. And word choice, I think that really helps, and they worked really hard on word choice, but there was one group that realised that maybe if they used a word like slid for little ice, that might have been more interesting and fitted the character as well. So we've talked a little about that.
Well, that's interesting. Okay.
But they did.
And you probably noticed in the little series that there's the wordplay. There's a lot of wordplay that I've used. And so it's fun to think about your characters, kind of make a list of adjectives or habits that are related to your characters, whether it's the snake or the ice or the kiwi, and then you can kind of brainstorm that way, come up with things that are unique to that character and work backwards. And be like, oh, this is a great word, I have to find a way to use that word in the story.
That's a great idea. Yeah. So think about the characters and the characteristics or personality.
Kiwi. We made a book it's called Little Kiwi. And my favorite part is
the finally when say, then little kiwi, mama kiwi, papa kiwi live happily ever after.
Can you show her? And show her the line that you really like.
Wait, lived had.
Hap kiwi ever after.
Oh, that's great.
My favorite part is worms.
Because he hated worms.
He hated them.
Do you have anything
He
else
hates
to say?
worms.
No.